The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you have to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, 932 Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we are getting ready. By the way, there's a lot of game stuff over here. I didn't mention it on Awesome Cast. Extra Life is got set up tonight. My brother is coming in with some folks, and they're doing a live stream for the Extra Life. That thing that's been stuck in the Facebook chat that I don't remember how to get rid of it. Well, I think that link works again. So go use that, and then catch us on the stream here. I'm going to have some fun with it. I want to play video games with my mom tomorrow afternoon, for instance. So for a very good cause. I am not doing 24 hours because I'm old, I'm tired, and I work with professional wrestlers. But with me, helped us with gaming, Dutters and the Riz played spooky games on all the feeds last night. The Riz is back after having a night of nightmares.
I did, and I actually did two of those game-a-thons. One was 24 hours and one was 25 hours.
What? Did you have a time zone issue there?
It was like right on daylight savings time, or right after daylight savings time. So it was like whatever gaining in the hour is. So it was like, oh, you can do 24 hours, or you can do 25 hours. And we're like, let's do 25. Like we were mumbling.
Life choices. Good life choices is what you did right there. Fantastic. Also with us, the promoter of the APWF Triple B Experience, and I don't even know how many podcasts. I think we're in a neck and neck on how many podcasts we produce at this point. Bubba Brewer is also back with us on the show.
Well, I got two that I know of.
Two that I know of.
Always a pleasure. Two that I know of, and it's always a pleasure to come on, Serg. When you invite me, I try to make it. So yeah, I'm just as busy, but not as busy as you are, though.
I feel like we're squeezing you between shows. You're cutting out here in about 45 minutes, so we kind of had to hot shot this a little bit. So, but I want to get you in here on show week. So I know we said Joe, you are also the replacement for Joe Dombrowski, who was originally scheduled, but Joe Dombrowski got booked on the Juggalo shows this week. So which is weird, after he's kind of like questioned me for my juggaloism all these decades, and now he gets to work it, which is I can't wait to see those pop up on YouTube. But anyways, before we
they'll have the new caramel apple Fago that they have.
Ooh, man, he's gonna discover Fago. He's gonna come back with a tattooed clown face paint kind of situation. Hey, before we get going, we had a very exciting show. I'll probably talk a little bit more later, but 880 Wrestling had a wonderful show, their debut at Penn Brewery on the North Shore, on the parking garage with the wonderful skyline in the background. And I love this trend. I know Enjoy has had this Taco Mania previously through, I think, a different brewery. But Penn Brewery had a special 880 Wrestling World Series show beer. And I said I was going to thank you to Alan Bish, actually, at the end of the night. He showed me this, and I was like, oh, man, I got to get one. He's like, they're sold out here. Have one. So thank you, Alan, first of all, for handing this over to me. And I promise I'm going to do it on the show and give you a shout-out. So a shout-out to our old friends at the long canceled podcast, Should I Drink That, from back in the day. I'm going to open this buddy up, and it is a wonderful lager. It says it's an Oktoberfest. So it's been so long since I've had one of these, and it's Oktoberfesty. It's very festive, if you will. So there you go. That's what you're missing out. And I presume, I do not know this for sure, but I bet we're going to have, because 880 is going to be at Penn Brewery here for the Thanksgiving Eve event, and I think a date in December as well has been announced. So I'm sure if you want to get your drink on and watch some good wrestling, check it out. And even some questionable wrestling. Some of these guys are like, literally, some people on the show are 3 months in the business. So, by the way, it's a lot of fun regardless. So. And of course, you can see how that show with a wonderful skyline and everything over on IndieWrestling.us's YouTube page and everything for free. Had a lot of fun out there with those guys. And it didn't get as cold as I was worried about. So I'm excited about that. And excited to, like, Penn Brewery is really excited to have us. So that's kind of cool, too, to see how everybody was down with that, too. So anyway, so let's get into it. Hold on, let's up here.
Well, let me ask you a question. How did they get the ring up? Did everybody take a piece and go up 3 flights of stairs? And...
So at a certain point, Lawless was on commentary and said we're on the roof of Penn Brewery. We're actually on the parking garage beside Penn Brewery. So
okay.
So a little bit, but it was an awesome view and everything. So really, it was like, even like you drive right up into the top of the drive. It's like 2 levels and stuff, and it's
Gotcha.
really easy to access.
That's easy. That's a lot easier than what I was thinking.
Yes, thank you, Hills, Pittsburgh, for that accessibility. So we just pulled the U-Haul up. It was the greatest load in and out I've ever had, because literally I drove my car up to where I wanted the stuff to be and just unloaded it. So
That's awesome.
I didn't even have to use my cart. I was like, perfect. Love this. Now, the ballroom we're going to have to use is a little more interesting. I've actually streamed not wrestling from it well before COVID. And it's a nice long hallway I'm going to have to take everything into. But there is a ramp, so I appreciate that. Anyways, Bubba, I wanted to see what you were into this week with general wrestling before we talk about the APWF show coming up this weekend. But you watched some Canadian wrestling, is my understanding.
Yes, my lovely cable system that I have at my house. I was privileged to watch some Maple Leaf Wrestling Saturday night, and the opening match was something that would be a main event in any other company, my company or any other company that's not as WWE or AEW. Josh Alexander opened the show. Let's put it that way.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, it was a 2-night event, but I didn't watch Sunday, of course, because of the greatest franchise playing Sunday night. I couldn't, I was doing a watch along, so I couldn't watch the second night, but they had AEW stars. They had Callis was doing play-by-play, and the guy who was let go by WWE,
Morrow.
Yes, he was doing play-by-play.
Yeah, Marinello. Yeah.
Yes, and it looked professional. It looked professionally done. It looked good. Looked like it had a hot crowd, and the matches were good.
Yeah, from what I saw, there was a Ring of Honor women's title, the AEW International title. I believe there was probably a TNA belt in there as well, correct? And this is Scott D'Amore that's running this.
Yes, I believe it is D'Amore. And he had second match he had was Marshall. What's his name from AEW, which is Cody's buddy?
QT Marshall, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He wrestled. He went over. And then the last match was the AEW International Championship match Saturday. And then they had it again Sunday. And then they had the ladies contender match Saturday for the Ring of Honor ladies match Sunday. So it was a 2-night event.
It was everything I saw of this, all the clips I saw of this, it looked like an AEW TNA level production, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would not honestly be surprised if they didn't lend some production from one of those companies to it. Although I'm not sure, because, well, I guess a lot of those are independent, especially probably on the TNA side. But like, I'm not sure, because I know Scott was kind of let go, unceremoniously shortly after the TNA rebrand, I guess, technically, at the beginning of the year. But man, if this is what he's doing with his spare time, like, holy crap, I hope this, and this was a super show, I don't know, and maybe you got an air of it from viewing it, but I don't know, is this an ongoing thing? Is this a periodic thing? Is it independent wrestling, or is it, trying to be an upper tier kind of situation? The fact that they were on pay-per-view, I did not realize. I only knew them from Triller, where every wrestling show is practically.
Well, they had an opening with the Hitman actually giving the history of Maple Leaf Wrestling. So it is probably a new, rebranded,
Mhm.
out now. Probably going to be, every month, and maybe they're probably going to be looking for a TV show, definitely in the Canadian network. And if Mr. Khan has anything to say about it, and he probably gave Scott some money. You never know because he's got tons of money.
Mhm.
He can front another company too because him and his dad has tons of money to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, obviously, very friendly concerning the titles that were involved. And this was in wondering about the TNA side. It did, like you said, Josh Alexander was a part of this show. Speedball Mike Bailey was in this show.
He was in Speedball was in the main event Saturday night.
Against was it against Takesha for the
Yes.
belt? Yeah, for the AEW belt. Yeah, and it was tremendous. Stu Grayson, Alex Zane was a part of this. Kylie Ray was a part of this as well.
That was a four corner match Saturday, and she went over.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked good. Like I don't see anything, from her issues that she had in other companies or whatever she had. She looked great, and that was a good, four-way ladies match.
Yeah, New Japan talent, AEW, TNA, all over this thing. Some top independent talent as well. I don't know his current name, but Jinder Mahal a part of this. It looks like.
Yes.
So like that's incredible. So one to look out for. I think they have a bundle for $30 on Triller if you're interested in checking that out too. If you want to see the replays of those. So, but I know it's been advertised for a while. I'm just like, oh, this is whatever. This is like another Wrestle Revolve or something. But it really looks like it's kind of elevated beyond something like that. Like it looked good. It really just looked like one of the
looked
other
professionally
shows.
done.
Yeah.
I was just going through my cable system, and then I was looking through all my pay-per-view stuff on my channels. And there it was, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching this."
Mm-hmm.
So it was good.
So I mean, and you say that how much was it? Was it a $20 pay-per-view like it is on Triller, or
I don't know.
You just clicked the button and moved on, didn't you?
I just clicked the button, and
You're gonna find out later.
Just press the button.
My lovely cable system, yes.
You're like, ooh, wrestling, click.
Yep.
We'll deal with the results later. So, no, that's awesome. So, one to look out for. I'm curious to see how often they're going to be. If there's a flyer for something, we talked about before. There's a big vacuum. AEW is getting that Mexico deal. Where all their shows, it looks like they're filling in all the gaps that WWE took out from Fox Sports Mexico, including a new show, just a recap show for their Monday night slot. It does feel with WWE kind of moving out again internationally. Everything's on Netflix internationally, right?
Yep.
Like we're getting Raw, but like anything left is going to Netflix that doesn't currently have a deal that they're tied to, from what I can tell. That's a lot of gaps. That's a lot of companies looking for professional wrestling, and AEWs and TNAs are only going to flourish in something like this, and maybe even a Maple Leaf Wrestling like this, right?
I think it's good for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I know just by the small little pieces that I've seen, I think there is like, and I think guys like Evil, and Scott D'Amore are trying to get more or less like talent, more or less eyes on the talent in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the people that I see on here multiple times is one of my favorite mystery wrestlers, mystery wrestling wrestlers, Psycho Mike.
He was on the show? That's amazing.
He was on the show. Mauro and Allo called his body slams.
Nice.
He looked at the hard cam like he always does. And like getting people like a Bully Ray or a Kesh or a Mike Bailey or somebody like or Jinder. I think I forget what his name is, but getting that kind of talent on a show and then having those other talents like mesh with them work. Like that's how quality works over quantity.
This is where
like you want those big names.
Yeah, this is like the older I was working with Warrior Wrestling in Chicago. These are the kind of again, they're hiring me instead of a TV truck. This is a TV truck. I can tell this has got to be a TV truck production from the clips that I was seeing, right? Like I
Sorry, you don't have a TV truck?
I do not have a TV truck. You know,
need to get one.
I'd love to get one. I just want a van for my stuff, to be honest, right? So. You know, or versus like I can tell GCW's a fly pack show, New Japan in America is a fly pack show. There've been TV truck ones like some of the San Jose shows that they've done, but you can also like I can usually tell you which is just by the look of it, you know, or level cameras or something like that, and everything I could tell this was like a full on like TNA AEW kind of look to everything. So, or they're very good at covering up. If not, again, not seeing the full show, I probably would give you a better line of that. But it's like those Warrior Wrestling shows were like that nice mix of the TNA, Super Indie, AEW kind of talent, right? And those do very well. They're expensive as hell, I'm sure, to put on. So I would not even want to know what the budget was.
Me neither.
I talked business to the owner of it one time, and I was like, "Oh, that's how this all makes sense about what they were doing with their tickets," you know. So it kind of pulled back together in my head with that, you know. And I also don't understand I do not understand the business of wrestling, if it makes sense, at least on the independent level. But
don't worry, I don't either sometimes.
Yeah. Somebody showed me a spreadsheet one time, and I'm like, oh. So, but anyways, no, this is good to see, you know, and I'm surprised because I keep hearing rumblings about we're getting supposedly AEW is pulling back on letting their people kind of intermingle, if you will, with like TNA stars and things like that for one reason or another. So I'm glad to see something like this is happening and is seemingly sanctioned by the big company, because I think this only helps gain the excitement. You know, much like, you know, I just saw a New Japan Strong champion Gabe Kidd on Ring of Honor from last week when I was catching up today. You know, things like that. I love that intermingling of stuff and people picking up on talents they're not seeing everywhere. I mean, kind of like what we see in the independents, right? Hey, this guy's going to roll over to 2PW and you know, for a little bit, and nobody's seeing him, and and then, you know, now he's over at APWF or 880 or something like that, right? You know, like seeing how things people kind of like fluid back and forth for things like this. So, just really.
I mean, if this stuff goes very well, this Maple Leaf Wrestling, and I know that Greektown stuff is in Canada. I would love, and I'm not pushing, but I would love to see Collier, you know, wrestling on shows like that. Like, and I would definitely pay pay-per-view money to see Collier on TV.
And I think Scott seems to be the kind of guy that pays attention to things like that. I mean, obviously the talent that they brought into TNA and things like that. So, it seemed very wrestling level-headed from my discussions with him. So, and I hear nothing but good things about working with Scott.
Well, maybe that's why they can actually get everybody, because everybody likes Scott. So that's why he's going to get everybody from every company, because nobody has any ill will towards him, and they will work with him, and they know how he works.
Yeah, because allegedly,
like maybe they get like a little.
Good.
Go ahead, Sorg.
I was saying, even allegedly, whatever was going on with Scott and the TNA deal when he got dropped out was between him and the office at Anthem. Allegedly, you know, through the dirt sheets and things, who knows?
Yeah, the boys liked him, so that's, you know.
Everybody was like, what the fuck? You know, we're doing something here, you know.
Like just get a little discount. Like just be like, hey, maybe I can be on your first show, and then
he got everybody on a favor rate. You watch, that's what actually happened here.
Hey, God bless him if he did. I'm telling you, God bless him if he did.
I really listen. I'm paying the TV truck.
I mean,
everybody else got coming. I got a brother rate for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure Speedball's a nice guy.
Oh God, he's not. He's impossibly nice.
Yeah, like I'm sure he went up to Speedball and went, "Do you want to do this?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "What's your price?" "I don't care."
Everybody, you're gonna wrestle.
Like, I feel like
it's like you're gonna wrestle to catch it in. You know, did you see these? What was it like?
Plus, he's Canadian.
So
he's homegrown.
Yep, exactly. Home sprouted up there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his? What was that spinning leg drop he did? Shooting star leg drop or something that rolled through. So, no, good stuff there. Good to see there's some new wrestling happening in the Canadas. Where did they hold this show? I missed. What was it, in Toronto area or? Because Border City, because Scott used to run Border City Wrestling, and I thought that was just over the border from Detroit. Last I heard. Because I know.
Maybe. I know. Like I said, like Sunday was Alexander versus Dikmenshina. So
Mhm.
that was the main event Sunday. So that whole those two. I mean, that whole two events. I think you probably got a price deal if you bought two, probably.
Man, I wish I wish I had 6 hours to sit down and watch these shows.
Yeah.
Jeez, we're talking about time before the show. That's a big one there. From the chat room here, Tina. Of course, Tina's going to keep us honest out there in Seattle. It was a Shooting Star Weapon X was the move.
Yep.
And it was St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario.
God bless her.
Windsor, Ontario. Oh, I know where Ontario is. Okay. So, no, yeah, I think Windsor is, over by Detroit. So actually, wait a minute. I was like right by
You were
this the
right
other
there,
night.
sir.
I was in Taylor, Michigan on
You could've
Friday night
went.
for the Ricky Shane Page show. So
It's like, why didn't you go, Sorg?
why didn't I go? Because I was doing something at Penn Brewery.
Oh, that's true. As you take the swig of the beer with the logo facing forward.
New friend,
I do
new
like that.
wrestle friends at Penn Brewery. How's it going?
You're already giving me ideas.
Our
So
new
you're already
friends,
giving me
our
ideas.
new friend Stefan. Hey, turns out breweries are the way to go in wrestling these days. Enjoy
There's one in my hometown.
and they love wrestling. Two notes, and then we'll go to the break and move on. I want to make sure we're talking about what's going on with you here because we're at limited time.
That's okay.
But Enjoy just did obviously Taco Mania, which is with Beers of the Berg, and have had their own Enjoy beer and stuff there too, right? They did I keep messing up the William. This is why I'm not on the microphone for this.
Is it Valium? No, not
Valium,
Valium.
Valium.
Not Valium.
So they were at a brewery in the South Side. We'll just say they're at a really
I
cool
was trying
brewery
to-
in the
I was
South
trying-
Side.
Make sure you don't say that word, Sorg.
And our friends that we mentioned Warrior Wrestling.
Vellum.
Vellum, thank you. Our friends at Warrior Wrestling, they kind of contracted down their shows from these big super shows that are doing at football stadiums and things like that to they are doing these brewery shows. Now they still have Mustafa Ali and things like that there, and Kylie Ray, and is one of their favorites to have on their shows and had been for a while. So there's really good stuff happening there. But again, they're doing it like breweries, and they're going up to Milwaukee and doing another brewery, and they're based in Chicago, and they did a trampoline park. Not too long ago too, which I still need to see the footage from this thing. Henry, please, I'm sure it's online or something, but Henry, I need to see this stuff. Henry Jasper was really amazing. They're cinematographer out there for Warrior Wrestling. Just awesome stuff. That I had a chance to work with, but no, so there's something to it, man. I think
it must be like a dinner and a movie now.
yeah.
So everybody's going to these breweries, which everybody has them probably in every town because I know, like I said, I have them in ours. And I will check on that if the facility it's a huge facility. But you never know. But it seems like you go there and it'd be like a dinner and a movie, but the movie is wrestling.
Tina in Seattle is filling us in on the rest of who else is doing this. Relentless Wrestling. She thinks Relentless Wrestling does their shows in Spokane. I was messing this up. Spokane. Oh, it is Spokane. What was I saying?
It's Spokane.
I said Spokane. Okay, got you.
You said Spoken.
And
Spoken at one point.
NCL North out of Newcastle, UK does their shows at one as well. But I think that's the thing, and that's the thing that we had.
CL?
NCL. No, not CL. He's not
NCL?
here. NCL. I know it still sounds like I'm saying CL. But anyways, that's our videographer
NCL.
that works with us at 880.
Sometimes that's a fine line though from the doing stuff if you're having a lot of booze and alcohol because I know in my history sometimes that doesn't mesh well.
No, but I think there's something missing. Like I feel like the majority of shows in the area had not had alcohol, right? And that's a different vibe and it's a different audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also a different money input potentially, right? Like Penn Brewery's happy to have a big show and sell some more beers, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where they're going to do a custom beer like this.
Yeah.
And I don't know the business of it. I don't know if 880 gets a cut for having a picture on it or whatever. It was just part of the partnership or what, I'm not part of the business. I just show up and shoot video, guys. I'm trying to make it look cool. But I think that is it because I think everything in this past week happened at a brewery, a winery was Wrestle Rex. Enclave is a concert venue that serves alcohol, and I know that was a very big push on it when Wrestle Rex was there at the Enclave at Rex Theater or whatever it was. At the time was like there was like, oh, we have a match and then a break. Why are we doing this? So they can go buy beers and buy tacos and whatever. It was like, oh, that's the business in this point, right? That's the point of this. At that point, it's just like you watch Raw because there's commercials. Right? That's why there is Raw, there's commercials. That's why they're at this to sell beers.
That's why you have an intermission for your concession. So your concession is the alcohol and the beer. And if you're basing it on volume, and my many years of being a bar manager, that's what you want to base it on. You want to base it on volume, and not having people get so overly over the top.
Yes.
But they're still there enjoying themselves watching a show.
And it's a different vibe of a show. It's a different audience thing, versus, the other shows that I would call it gymnasium
stuff with
shows.
You're bringing the family. And 4 or
it's
5
a
kids.
different audience, and that's what I always say. I'm like, different people come to these than come to the other shows, right?
Yeah.
Like this isn't as much crossover, except
There's
unless it's the super fans.
We were talking on Saturday about the shows that were happening around town, and the first words that came out were, I don't think any of these people would be at the one in 880 and vice versa.
No, exactly.
Like it was
exactly,
and also that kind of energy, I guess is a good word for it. I guess that kind of energy wouldn't be good for people who would be drinking at a wrestling show.
Well, then also RWA achieves that chaotic energy without alcohol.
That's true.
So there's that too.
RWA would.
Yeah, exactly. I do not want to add alcohol to that audience at all. It will be, I will need hazard pay. It just.
All I know is one time I had alcohol and I had New Jack at the same place.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like alcohol.
So
is
I mean, I know.
Yeah,
that's that's a very historic night in the company's history that happened, and it's well documented.
Oh my God!
State police show up.
Yep. That's a good point, because Tina points out that at Defy Wrestling at Washington Hall, the beer is floating, and that was one of the damn loudest rooms I have ever experienced, was Defy Wrestling up there. So anyways, I want to take a note here, and we need to talk with Bubba about what's going on this week. But first of all, thank you to our friends that are supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Everybody supports us. We have a special feed for you guys right now. Had a little bit of our chatter before the show, and our Patreon with our illegal, not good for the internet, not allowed on the internet friends of the show are allowed to join us over there, and you can be a part of that. Patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you everybody that does support the show. Our friends at the fan and show level. Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Team Hammer Fist, the Tupac family. Fama? Good seeing you guys.
It's that beer he's drinking.
That's why I don't drink on the show. I only do it for Christmas. So this is a special occasion. Hey, Bubba, you support the show too. Thank you.
I do. I try.
Of the Triple B Podcast Network. Jason French. I'm going to say it different every time. Poppy Club level, our friends Dave Prop Punter, and Rats in a Trench Coat, Tony Kincaid at the Pizza Club level. The Riz is joining us on there.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
I know last week I had a picture up here of
our manager Bradley.
Our manager, this one.
Oh, there it is. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, there's that one. But
Wedgie,
again, I don't want to do that often, and so it kind of just
just pops up.
Oh, is your button stuck? Oh, is your butt button stuck?
Fuck. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you're good. Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
You don't even have Hogan in the corner. Is Hogan out of timeout? Is Buddy Hogan out of timeout? What happened?
I'll get that later, sir.
Oh no! Oh, we're gonna do a bit. Okay, Bubba Brewer, you got.
It's not a bit. It's not a bit.
I'm sorry. I'm talking. Okay, I'll podcast kayfabe that. For you.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bubba Brewer, you're doing something this weekend.
Look, I'll put this back up. So
there we go. All right, I feel better about this already.
You feel better.
There you go. That's much better.
Is that what you want?
Man, the audio people are just, what the fuck is going on?
Do you want Bradley to be mad at me again?
I'm crying from laughing. Anyways, what the hell?
Sorg
Okay,
is-
APWF
Sorg is
this
already having
weekend.
a blast.
I'm like half a can into this.
Just
It
half
is
a
a
can.
big can, though.
It is a pretty good guys can. Like, and I've been drinking nothing but White Claws for the longest time. So you know.
Oh, you got to work your way up.
Oh no, what is this percentage here? I've been kind of
I was
liking
gonna
it.
say, what is the
Oh,
percentage?
it
on
doesn't
this?
say a percentage. What does that mean?
It's probably
What
very
is that?
potent.
Oh, 5.5%.
That's potent.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. All right. Anyways, APWF is this Saturday in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I'm excited at the Castle with a K. So, Bubba, this is the third show of the rebooted era of APWF. Am I saying
Yes.
that right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
And it was only be like I told everybody, it was only supposed to be one show. Like
You keep saying
one
that.
show in Indiana is all it was, and it turned into three. And I want to give a hats off to my staff, but it's a different different vehicle this time around doing this
Mhm.
stuff. It's not hard. It's not hard, but it's not easy. So I mean those kids loved her,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, and there's a lot of kids at the shows, of course, at the castle. It's fan friendly, but
Mhm.
they do serve sarsaparillas.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Oh
Okay.
they
boy.
do serve sarsaparillas. You know, I mean, I can be the promoter and bouncer at the same time. So
There you go.
you know, and everybody's just, you know, having a few and watching a show, and that's what it is. And probably every shows that has this stuff that has alcohol in every independent show. You know what I mean? Nobody gets over the top.
Mm-mm.
You know.
So, we talked early on. I mean, we've had discussions. You're kind of relearning this new era and everything. You're 3 shows in. I think we had you before the second one, and I was like, "What'd you learn from the first one?" and everything.
Well, today I'm working on the, getting the sound. My
Okay.
other half, my wife, is getting all the stuff downloaded to make sure. Josh from the castle was our sound guy the last show, and thank God for that.
Mm.
I try to learn something new from every show.
Mhm.
I spoke my mind and my opinion of that last main event against against Big Time
who's that guy in the
Gunfighter
corner?
and Spencer Slade, and I maybe said some stuff that people don't agree on, some people that didn't like it, but I think that was the best match so far that I've ever seen in my company's history, and I know the history because I've been with it since the first show in '98. So those 2 individuals put on a showcase that night, and Jason Hendricks and Zach Nystrom started the show off with a bang in August. So
Mhm.
it just started from there, and like I said, going into this, I'm not going to be able to get everybody, all the time, and that's the thing. So it's an expanded roster like no other. So getting guys when I can get them, and girls when I can get them, that's what I have to do. Now on this show Saturday, we have Elijah Dean versus Gorgeous Gregory. Has never ever faced each other,
Ooh.
ever. So right there is a marquee matchup in our show.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's hard to get people, but we had money shot, but Zach had a situation in Canada,
Mhm.
and things happen. So I'm not a prick. Things happen. Opportunities are there for him to hopefully get, and I would never ever hold anybody back.
No, it was good to see Zach and Cowpoke Paul, which I think was another first ever match that you had at your very first show a few months ago.
Well,
that I forget,
those two contact when I saw them at Rise Wrestling, they're like, "Oh, we never worked." I go, "Well, if you want to, let's do it." So, I mean, I'm open, with getting talent that never worked with other talent before. As long as I tell my booker, you know what I mean, and we can get stuff done. I mean, we have 8 matches Saturday night. Like you shown there, Slam and Sammy is back. And for me, it was very hard to get female wrestlers to get back to me. I don't know why. Maybe because they think it's I'm new in the block. I think that maybe was the problem. But now I got some people getting a hold of me, and hopefully 2025 we go bigger and better.
Well, I think that's the other thing. You're still showing people what you guys are doing out here, because I think, like, it appears that you're doing something of a showcase show. You're bringing in talent out there that doesn't get featured in the area as well,
Yeah.
or there's whatever with promotions out there already. So
we don't have any storylines, so that's what people sometimes get people in. Okay, the storylines to me is the wrestlers telling their story inside the ring.
Absolutely.
So you're going to get great, exciting wrestling action. That's what you're there for. I mean, it could be, APWF could be like the old house shows at WWE. You got great wrestling when you showed up when you were a kid. It's just getting good talent and having the matches, set up and go from there and just spread the word. It's very hard because, a lot of people, I didn't know starting the show, we had some other talent, but there was another show that came up and some other people had to go. It happens.
How's that joke? Everybody runs the same Saturday. I know that.
Well, that's why I like running Sundays, and hopefully they don't steal my formula. But I had to run shows in the fall because I can't compete against the Steelers. I just can't do it on Sundays. There's no way. There is no way in God's green earth unless I'm down there at Heinz Field, doing a show in front of 50,000 people in the parking lot. Other than that, that's the only way I would do it.
We just need to combine them. You just need to do a show in the parking lot with the wrestling. We'll do a tailgate show.
Well, it's good for me doing a Steeler podcast, so I can get connections and work and do all that kind of stuff too. So I can incorporate the Steelers and professional wrestling if time. Because you never know. If I can get some Steelers to come to my shows, believe me, I will.
Absolutely. Hey, you see them in the front row of Raw all the time, right? So why not? If they can get a little more involved and have some fun with it, then maybe WWE will let them. Although I don't know, they're getting a lot of people involved these days. Like some guys from the NBA were getting real involved with some of that Logan Paul stuff, if I recall. So,
well, they're putting all their money into him, and he's going to make them a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely, already is, right? So, no, but it's a lot of fun. I get these shows. They're going out for free, and everything will be online on your channels, on our channels, on IndieWrestling.us as well. I've appreciated a lot of it's been quality wrestling. There's some faces that I don't know there, but it's again, I appreciate, I always appreciate companies that are taking, I feel like sometimes wrestlers are in a silo. Maybe they're, hey, these guys are 2PW, these guys are RWA, and they don't intermingle or something like that.
There's no loyalty and no allegiance.
You take them out of the territory. That's why I loved Erie to begin with, because it was a mix of that Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo talent that we don't get to see touch too often.
And speaking of Buffalo, those guys are booked or they'd be on the show. Those guys are some great talent. Vince Fowler, McCoy, Kennedy, they are some great talent, and we just couldn't get them for this show. And like I said, sometimes we couldn't get them. We can't get Bill Collier every time. I mean, my God, I would love to. Spencer Slade. Things happen. Those guys are booked everywhere. And, it's just – that match right there is, I can't rave about it enough. The camera work, those guys lit everything in the ring, and it was something. They wrestle everywhere, but when they wrestle everywhere, it's an epic encounter everywhere they wrestle. And I was just glad that we got them a match in our company's history, because I never thought in my wildest dreams that we would be able to book Slade versus Collier in my company ever. Never thought in the wildest dreams. And now I would never have thought that I'd be booking Gorgeous Gregory versus Elijah Dean. Our main event is the Troublemakers. Those guys are trouble wherever they go.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So they're going against the Rad Boys, and we have they have a special surprise partner. As soon as that person comes out the curtain, and you'll know who it is right there and then. But the Rad Boys aren't giving they're not laying their cards out on the table. And we got Tad Jarvis. So we got Ashton Day from you've probably seen him in NWA Exodus.
Yep. Very familiar with Ashton Day between Exodus and now Neo Pro here on the network. We've been seeing a lot of them too. He's a great talent.
Yes, I'm excited to we've been contacting back and forth, and I like his work, and I like a lot of those guys' work out in EC3's Federation. Yeah. And when I can get those guys, I like to bring them in when I can. I like to give everybody an opportunity when I can.
Sure.
but I just can't give everybody an opportunity, just because they say they wrestle. Sometimes they say they wrestle, but can they wrestle?
Yeah, we see that. We see that a few
Yeah.
times. So
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I give opportunities, but you got to be trained, and you got to know. I don't know. I'm old school. I want guys to look like wrestlers.
I've always been shocked that people who say they've been around for a couple years, and the guys we're seeing that we were just talking about 3 months in on the show Saturday night are doing more than them. It's incredible how that goes.
Well, nowadays you can get booked 3 or 4 nights a week now.
Yeah,
back then it was back 20 years ago. It was just Allied Powers Wrestling Federation, PWX, and Steel City Wrestling around here. That was it. So if you weren't booked and you weren't getting booked on Norm Connor's show at Steel City, because he was booking names and he was booking guys for Maryland Championship Wrestling, and if you weren't them, you weren't getting booked.
I know there's a lot of
A
companies.
lot of those guys were big independent names, and we had them in our company too. So, and they were great. Cicero's and the Cue Balls and Christian and Joey Matthews. I mean, I go on and on and on.
Riz remembers the Cicero's and the Cue Balls, I'm sure. I'm from the RWA days.
I remember
when they came back.
Arrow. Yeah.
Riz's first show, I think one of them Powell drove Ryle Mitchell's mother in the ring.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
No, not in the ring. It was outside.
It was outside? No way it was outside.
Oh, no. You're right.
The mom was in the ring. Dad might have been outside.
The mom was in the ring. I think he was outside.
I think the riot was later, but they were not happy.
And Mitchell was a great
close.
performer too.
Huh?
Mitchell was a great performer too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I had him booked before he went to the service, and God bless him for his service.
Yes.
He was great in the ring, consummate professional. A lot of these guys that we all know, they've retired and they're doing other stuff, but Western Pennsylvania wrestling wouldn't be anywhere with a lot of these guys. And some of these young guys need to realize, wasn't it for older guys paving the way, you young guys wouldn't be here.
No, it comes from somewhere. We didn't get this out of nowhere. I mean, even looking at the people involved in the 4 shows, this past week, it was like it's a lot of vets that are putting these together that have been around for a while and been around the bin a bit. So,
and everybody and all the vets are are well respected. Like I respect Dean Radford so much, and Brandon Kay and Quinn and Paul Atlas, and I mean those guys are the pinnacle. Brian Anthony, they're the pinnacle of Western Pennsylvania independent wrestling,
Absolutely. Well, Bubba, I know you got to go. You have other obligations here. I just want to talk to you for
I'd
a
love
minute.
To stick around and talk wrestling, but
we talk for 3 hours if we didn't have this.
I could talk forever on wrestling. I was talking with the Indiana Gazette for the show on Saturday. I know we talked about an hour, and I could talk all day long, but of course, I got to do the Steelers Dynasty podcast where we're doing a collaboration with my buddy from Australia. We do Steelers Nation Australia. So the Steelers podcasting stuff is actually getting very, very big, and it all intercombines with the wrestling and the podcasting. So, I mean, I appreciate everybody, that spreads the word, and I appreciate everybody that like you, sir, are giving me the time to come on the show and actually talking about my company. And it's a grassroots campaign. I gotta, like I told the reporter, I have to go door to door in my area to get people to realize there's independent wrestling in Indiana, Pennsylvania, in the Johnstown area. I'll have to do it because I think I'm going to toot my own horn. I think I'm probably one of the only few promoters that still drive around and put posters up in the area. And that's the truth. And I'm going to be the only promoter that, put my ring in a U-Haul and set it up and tear it down. So, I mean, it is what it is.
You need a training school real bad.
No, those are nothing but headaches too, though. I did that before. It's nothing but a headache. And never say never.
Yeah.
I would just build a building here in my yard and then just have the school right here.
There you go. That can't beat the commute, right?
You can't beat the traffic. But
first of all, I got to miss the last one. I'm excited to be there for this Saturday. I think
we're excited to have you guys, and you guys do sponsor us.
Yes.
IndieWrestling.us, and we do appreciate that. And getting the footage on your channel is great, and I have a whole bunch of old footage from yesteryear that I would like to get out. When got beat up by Bundy and DDT'd by Jake and the Freebirds.
It's
2000.
How many times did
Quackenbush.
Bubba die to the stars? I'm here for it.
I had an interview with Quackenbush, and I didn't realize Quackenbush's first seminar was in the APWF.
There you
His
go.
first fucking seminar. I didn't know that until I did the interview. And Quack was a champion back in the day for us. So there's a lot of history that people do not know in Western Pennsylvania, but we're back. We're doing epic quarterly events as much as we can. We can do fundraisers if they contact us, but we are just trying to give a positive aspect to professional wrestling and do shows that some of the ticket proceeds go for charities. This one Saturday is going to go for Make-A-Wish organization, and also too, we're doing another one where JT Toys and Collectibles are doing something for epilepsy awareness at his table. So we're doing 2 charities at the show, and we're doing a Halloween costume party. So I'm doing a lot Saturday. I'm not dressing up. I'll dress up as a promoter.
There you go. Wear the tie and everything. Hey, give me real quick. I want you. Can you reach in deep? Do one thing for me on your way out the door here. I want you to reach in deep to the old days of the Bubster. Okay, and give me a real quick promo to get them there on Saturday.
Oh man. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bad Bubba Brewer, and I'm telling you guys what, if you're not there at the castle at 7 p.m., 6 o'clock, the doors are open. I expect you to be outside that building with your ticket money in hand and buy tickets to see the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. And we will see you Saturday night at the castle facility.
There you go, Bubba Brewer. Go check him out, and you'll see the Azus podcast here on the break here in a few moments too. So, thank you so much. You know what? With that, we're just gonna go ahead to commercial. We'll come back and talk about whatever else is going on in the Pittsburgh area in the wrestling world, AEW, WWE, or whatever the hell Riz wants to talk about. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Riz is here on the Wrestling Mayhem show.
Keep it on here, Sorg.
And Hogan is out of
He's right here.
timeout.
He's,
Wow.
He's going back in timeout.
Look at
It's
the
fine.
intensity in
It's
his
fine.
eyes. Look
It's
at
fine.
that. Look at that. I think we need to put him back in timeout.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
going back in
I was
timeout.
actually watching. I watched about half of the they had the A&E doc bio on Macho Man.
Uh-huh.
And of course there's a lot of Hogan.
Oh, how
and
he
there's
just
not
decides to whitewash everything that
I don't know.
Macho
There
Man
was a
has
whole
ever said about him.
There was a whole thing about why they were not friends for 10 years or whatever, and it was just like, all right.
Because he,
Yeah, I don't know.
Man,
Well,
he's
there
the
was
hot
there's a
dog
whole
of-
story about like Elizabeth was there and he didn't know it, and she didn't know that he didn't know it, and he took it personally, and I was just like, all right, okay.
yeah,
Like I take it for what it is. It's like it's wrestlers telling stories, so you. Like we know not to take
But
it
still,
100%. Any
how-
documentary is just all through a lens, right? So, but no, I mean it was really well done. It wasn't just a recap, you know. It was a really good. I do love Hogan's like, yeah, I don't expect that they were really trying to like steal our, steal a show from me and Andre or anything like that. And then Steamboat's like, we were completely trying to steal a show from Andre.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just like what the hell. So, anyways, that was on there because it's on Hulu, but I just can't watch it with the commercials, man. I don't think I can get the non-commercial version right now because of reasons. Thank you for weirdness. Actually, I shouldn't even have it. So, no, I pay for it legally, but still, it's a thing.
It's fine.
What is I
Hey, we
going
get
to talk
it.
about here? Riz, I wanted to tell you about the shows this weekend, including the one that gave
Yeah.
me beer. So, which. And
we can tell stories.
I'm
about
drinking
shows,
this
Sorg.
now because I will not touch a drop of alcohol on show day. You see how I'm like
I've
flubbing
seen
shit
how-
right now?
Yeah.
Could you imagine me trying to run a show like this?
No.
I'm trying to once or twice, and it's not great. Why is Jamie Jameson just mugging me at the bottom of that can? What is happening right there? So this is Jack Pollock's work, by the way.
It is very nice.
It's very, very cool. I love the stylized on everybody.
Took me a while to realize that's MV on the other corner.
Where, this one right here? Yeah, he's very
That one, and then
he's
on
very
the other side.
beardy, isn't he? And look at
He's very.
Matt
he has
Connard.
a lot of hair.
I was
on him.
there's a picture of Matt Connard and Lexus Sin behind him because they did she was part of the Black Hand Society team.
Yes.
And I just I sent it to, and I didn't want to put it publicly because I didn't think anybody else would get this, but I sent it to specific people that would notice, and I was like, is this wrestling or a sexy Dark Lotus? Which is the ICP Twisted band where they wore hoods and stuff like that as a super.
You're right.
So yes, I'm the,
you're
there's
right. You're
like two
right for
people
doing
out there that
Sorg.
probably understand that, but
I mean, this show started on somebody on this channel that would probably know that. So
that is true too. Also, Facade shared the 2001 Kennywood Juggalo Day picture, which I think I started coming the next year. So he's older school than I am on that one. I was doing stuff. I don't know. There was a reason I didn't go to it, but
Yeah.
schedule sucks.
so how? Like,
Yes.
I obviously wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was busy doing the other show that
The RWA
was
show.
simultaneously running at against 880.
Yeah, wait till you see what I was running up against for RWA this month that we have to handle. So I just got
no.
some news today is all I want to say.
Oh,
If you know what a calendar works, you can probably figure out what it is. But anyways, you're saying RWA, which also looked like a great show. Hentai, dog collar match for the right to Super Hentai. No spoilers,
Yep.
Riz. I haven't
Okay, yeah,
watched it
that's
yet.
true.
I edited out the intermissions and stuff, but I did not watch the results. So
Just no Super Hentai one.
thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's just like that run SummerSlam. I can tell you an Undertaker is going to win.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Undertaker one.
The Undertaker
Hey,
won.
Kane beat Kane.
But no, it
and-
looked like a good show. I was watching bits and pieces of Gianni and the Renegade Rider. Is it?
Yeah.
Beastman
No,
and the Reese
so-
Hayes.
So I don't know if you caught the audio was good, right? Because did you catch?
Yeah, I listened to some of it.
Did you catch like some of the stuff that for the Renegade Rider match? Like, did you hear like J Rock what he was saying?
Okay, I was a little busy, Riz, to really kind of
Okay,
digest
yeah.
what was happening. But
So he kept. So I kind of get it. He said it was the move set the movesets, some of the mannerisms kind of look familiar, and we could be having a Mr. America thing on our
Yeah,
in our
yeah. It's
way.
obviously MV
Like,
Young.
It's obviously it could be MV Young.
He came out the Renegade. That's kind of a giveaway. It's kind
He
of
did come out to Renegade.
So Renegade Rider
But,
is
it could-
absolutely MV Young.
It could also be Hulk Hogan,
Allegedly, yes.
allegedly. I mean, but he kept saying like it was like McChesney. I mean, it could even be Matt. We haven't seen Matt.
We
in
have not
RWA.
seen Matt at RWA for a
So
while. He
Matt
did very
could be the
well.
Renegade Rider.
Yeah, maybe he got trained in the last month and a half.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But in all seriousness, that was actually a really fun show.
It's Bloody
and
Harvest.
it was Bloody Harvest. It wasn't one of the ones that was like here's a new guy coming, or a former WWE or ECW star that came in.
Yeah.
It was,
although Heath Slater's coming next month.
Heath Slater is coming next month. But this show with a lot that was happening around town that day that you can probably see in the news, like it still packed the house. And
Oh, really? They did. I thought you said I thought they were down because of the rallies.
So it wasn't as big as it was, but there was
They did good.
a
Okay.
lot more people that came in, like maybe minutes before the first show,
Oh, nice.
first
Okay.
spell.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah. And again, I don't think that would be.
I got
that
some
would be-
off-color jokes that I will not say on the show that go with
No.
that.
No.
Anyways, so my show was very interesting. We were on a parking garage. I think I just said with Bubba. We're on a parking garage at Penn Brewery, and it was like kind of like it's one of those like. This is the show I was stressed out about because I knew it was an outside show. I was looking at the weather report and how cold it might get. There's a lot of logistical issues when you do an outside show like this. So,
we've had issues with outdoor shows.
we have definitely had issues. Like, there's nothing in a forecast, and an hour before we find out there's a severe thunderstorm coming. You know what I mean? Like 0 in the forecast, and I was like, "There's 0. It's all clear." And I was like, "I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Don't tell me this." But literally, there has not been a cloud in the sky for a week here in Pittsburgh. So which also means it's really freaking cold at night. So that was a little concern. But we get on this, and I drive up to this at noon the day of, and I look out, and you'll see in a second, and I see what our background is going to be. And oh my God.
Well, you have the UPMC building.
The UPMC building, the Highmark building, the everything else downtown is lit up in the backdrop here. Wonderful front lighting from our benefactor that helped with the lighting situation that night. That literally is saving the show. So I'll give them an anonymous shout out here on the show. But man, it was so freaking cool for the introduction to shows at Penn Brewery. There will be more. Like I said, there will be 2 more. It'll be in the ballroom, which is also an awesome room. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it translates into that. Because it's such an interesting just facility there at Penn Brewery. To be honest, I saw places I hadn't seen before when I was walking around, and I was just really happy with how the show more or less came out here. So but for being a kind of a skeleton crew that we had for this show, and everything, and just things come up when you're doing a show like this. So it is what it is, and you make the most of it. But man, it was a good crowd there. And again, this is the fourth of 4 shows, but starting with Enjoy last Saturday, the Saturday before into this, and there were 2 shows in town, the Enclave and the WrestleRec shows, and everybody seemed to do very, very well. Look at that crowd in the background there hanging out, and drinking the beers and drinking these special beers and everything like that. Okay, that table said "fuck you," but other than that, the table definitely said "fuck
I like
you."
MV's reaction. He's
like, "Yep, that didn't break." So, but it was a lot of fun. It was their World Series. So there was it was kind of like the scoreboard kind of thing all night and everything. So
I'm sad I missed the World Series.
Yeah, you had so much fun with it. I know you guys did some great title work last year. I didn't get to do too much because we were really kind of handcuffed on what we could do with this, and due to circumstances outside of our control with equipment. Unfortunately, some of the equipment's in California for some reason. For instance. So we made do pretty well on that. So that was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys get a chance to watch it, and we'll be putting the matches out independently as well.
I know, like I said, I was in the other part of the huge Pittsburgh spectrum, I guess is a better word for it. Pittsburgh vortex of wrestling in the rural
Pittsburgh
areas.
Vortex.
The rural area of that, and but seeing stuff like the Enclave get bookings and Penn Brewery and the Vellum. I said it right. The Vellum Brew, Fort Fermentation. Seeing those places get wrestling, that's what when I first started watching and when I first started indie wrestling watching in 2006, 2007. That's what I really wanted to happen here. I didn't want again, IWC Norm Connors, he brought wrestling close. He brought it down the street the first time. I went to the one in Monroeville. That's perfect. But since then, nothing is in the vicinity of Pittsburgh.
No, and I think it's we're kind of talking about with Bubba. I think that's two different audiences. I think you have so many people in the city that will not go down the highway to all these shows that have been happening for the last 20 years. And you have people that are down the highway or in West Newton or all respect to our West Newton friends down there and Worthington.
I just looking at Brandon St. James.
This is wild. This is where they played Sabotage I think twice while everybody started brawling. They completely did a New Jack thing. It was wild. And we were just trying to keep up for the most part. So, hey, look at those beers they're drinking. That's very familiar, isn't it? So, I'm amazed we never got any beer on our cameras. Okay, not on the lens at least. It was definitely some on it afterwards when I got that. But yeah, no, this is the big, what was it, 5-on-5, 6-on-6, something like that. Elimination match that ended the night. So, dude, it was wild. It was absolutely insane. And this is the kind of vibe I love.
This is what
absolute madness.
When I think professional wrestling in this city, that's the backdrop. That's the atmosphere that I kind of want in wrestling.
I've never actually imagined getting an atmosphere like this specifically. So
no, I mean, maybe not on a rooftop in downtown Pittsburgh, but being in the vicinity of that.
Maybe just
seeing that backdrop. Honestly, if I was there, I would have probably had a anxiety attack for trying not to fuck anything up, Sorg. So maybe it was a good thing I wasn't there.
By the way, Sabotage is still playing in this scene
Sabotage,
right now as they're going off.
That's why it's muted.
Well, at the moment, yes, but amazingly, they did not capture this yet. But I think it's well in the background. So, but no, it was you can see this is a parking garage. This is like a parking lot garage. It's the top floor, of this thing. And I remembered it, and thankfully we had the wireless this night, so before I even knew that they were doing this kind of stuff. But no, again, it's really cool. I think everybody came away with a good vibe. Matt was in the chat room earlier. True Prince Pro, 880 Show Brewery was legit the most beautiful setup ever seen for a show in Pittsburgh area with the nighttime skyline perfectly in the background. I literally got there, and there's you need to put the hard cam here, and I looked at it, and I was like, Yes, I do. And I don't know if you can see so much in here, but I don't think you see it at night, but if it was during the day, and I'm hoping,
would have
I'm
shown
really
a
hoping,
lot.
like I'm going to be encouraging them to do a daytime show as well next year, because if we do this like in the summer or something, because actually the Heinz plant and the smokestacks are right there in the background as well, but they're not lit up. So there's that kind of thing. So though, and this is this is a weekend of like really really fun shows and interesting, like, and I love we got some.
So
we
go
ahead.
I kind of want to throw out an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think, maybe not this year, but next year, they do light up night at Penn Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
How everything in that backdrop lights up. Everything. That's it. But again, it's in November, but it's gonna be freezing cold then. But still,
yeah, don't make me do a show in the cold, please. More than we just did.
Sorg.
So, and there's Brandon.
And there's Brandon jumping off something that's very tall.
Jumping on something really tall for the second week in a row.
Yep.
So
I think he's done that in every outdoor show that we've done.
Absolutely. I think I was telling Bubba before the show. He's our new facade. Tina says that Bumbleshoot, our music again in Seattle, our music comedy and arts festival had a wrestling over Labor Day weekend. Similar vibes and View had the Space Needle as their backdrop. That's cool.
The Space Needle backdrop.
Oh man,
reminds me of like I think that like NFL Street had something like that where just had like different backdrops of cities.
I wonder if there's stuff. You ever see the Hilltopless show that I did years ago? I wonder if the video's still up. We live streamed this thing. I think the band was the Cool Kids. Like, we did a high level stream. It was like this neighborhood fest. We did it at what is the park? The Overlook Park. Not like Mount Washington, but further down. Between
I think it's called Overlook Park.
I think it actually is Overlook Park. But again, like, we did this with a stage, and the backdrop of the city is the other thing. I can't believe I just thought about this. Oh, there's a highlight reel for it. It'll give you an idea, hopefully. This is not the thing that I worked on. I was on more of the live stream. I don't do beauty shots. But this is the festival that I got to work on. And I was like the technical director switcher, kind of what I do for wrestling for this. And none of these are my shots. This is all the cool auxiliary stuff that was happening around it. But anyways, but no, it was very cool because the stage was there. The backdrop was basically the city for this, and it was just, this is Hilltopless 2017. Yeah. That's really cool. Tina's sending us some stuff too. She got some pictures from this with a Space Needle in the background. I can't. Hold on, I gotta see if I can pull this up. I want to see if I can pull this up too. The other show I got to go to the Troy Taylor, Michigan. By the way, the first Sheets in Michigan is by the airport. Hot news if you go to the Detroit area, by the way. And the wrestlers were very excited. The Ohio people were explaining to the Canadian people backstage with excitement. It was wonderful. But anyways, so this is Ricky Shane Page working with Clash Wrestling. So shout out to Ricky and Jeremy up there for that. A really cool crew to work with, being a first time working with that. By the way, I got to show the Tina picture here. There's the referee. There's a referee with the Space Needle in the background. They're like below the Space Needle. That's amazing. Oh, that's so fun. That is so fun. Basically, everybody's just posing with the Space Needle in the ring at this point. I mean, who wouldn't at this point? Like, I feel like everybody was with the backdrop there the other night at our show too. So, but anyways, so where was that? Oh, so this was Simply the Best. It was I guess you would label it a deathmatch show. But it was not like, it's basically like about everything had a gimmick. We had Jessica Havoc was on the show. We had a lot of the 440 guys were on the show. The Cogers were a part of it. There was like a terracotta death match, where they're like breaking pots and stabbing each other with it. Things like that. There's only like a little bit of tube work in there, and there was this fascinating contraption at the end of the night with Ricky Shane Page against Cruel. And Riz, I think you know my background with Cruel. So thankfully,
no hard cam damage.
no hard cam damage. There was a no. Everything was. They did not go out in the crowd for this thing or anything like that. But anyways, it was called Death from Above. Okay. What, Riz, if I told you that Ricky Shane Page was going to have a Death from Above match, I want to know, what would you imagine that would be?
Scaffolding match. A scaffold match.
You think it's a scaffolding match?
A scaffold match.
What if I told you nothing was climbed?
Then something fell from the sky?
You would be correct. I'm gonna fade into this very dramatically, Riz, and I just want your utmost reaction to it.
No.
Riz, what are you looking at right now?
It's like a mohawk of fluorescent light tubes.
Yes. And then that is a pole of light tubes bundled together. And the idea is, I'm not going to show the main event of this thing, because this show will get pulled from something new. But basically what happens is your person gets slammed into the pole of it, and those light tubes that are sticking up come down on you. So you get a shower of light tubes on top of light tubes.
Only in Detroit.
Only at a Ricky Shane Page show. This is also the same guy who came up with a ladder match with colored ladders. I guess this is one of the Circle 6 shows that I did when he was a part of that.
Oh, that's right. I remember watching that.
Yeah. And
so see, that's good. I like that.
It's like you can only use your ladder to climb for whatever the match was for. I think maybe a championship or an opportunity.
I think it was a tag title match.
This is something I guess he had tried at a promotion that, at something. It had been a while. They were trying it on a bigger platform kind of thing. He is a, I don't want to use the term innovator of violence, but really, like, he's kind of like and I guess this was something that had happened at an IWA show, which makes sense. There's a big deathmatch promotion,
makes
right?
Sense.
So he was wanted to be a part of this, was part of the Clash and everything like that. So really fun show, really good crew. And it wasn't like, we've done other shows, we've done some no peace shows, we've done some XPW shows, and it just feels like light tube all freaking night, right? Detroit shows in general, light tubes all night. It feels like this was it escalated through the night. Like, the pre-show didn't have light tubes.
Pre-show didn't have light
XPW, we did the one full XPW show I got to produce. We had a pre-show that was a 3-way light tube match, and I'm just like, what are we doing the rest of the show, right? Like, I didn't,
more light tubes.
It was, the answer is more light tubes, apparently. And I don't think we had syringes on that show. That came later. Oh no, we did have a syringe on that show. So
just not in the.
I actually pulled up pictures from a show several years ago that I forgot syringes were involved. I forget what it was, but I'm just like, oh, I have seen this before. Anyways, so
that's a weird thing for wrestling, Sorg.
Syringes?
It's a weird
just
thing
like
to say.
So
you have
normalized. Well, thanks to Swerve and Hangman, it's normalized. So it's just part of wrestling now.
Yeah.
Somebody was complaining about the GC. I think they called it the GCW-ness or XPW-ness of. Were you there for that conversation of pro wrestling? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, they're doing light tubes and this. I was like, on the pay-per-views, like not like every week. Actually, they haven't been really bloody from the week-to-week show lately, have they?
They haven't done that in a while.
No, because they got Will Ospreay.
They do.
What the fuck is this? Why are you in the picture twice?
I don't know.
How did you do that? How did you clone yourself on the show?
I don't know, Sorg. I don't know what you're talking
about.
What
are you doing? God, I feel like I don't know what's happening. Anyways, this is enough about the local stuff.
I'm doing that just for Bradley.
I want to give it. I gotta do my ads in reverse order. What time is it? This show's already too long, I think.
Game time.
Riz, first of all, we talked about it. Go check out indiewrestling.us. A lot of stuff going on. RWA Bloody Harvest, 880 Wrestling, of course. The Clash Simply the Best. show is actually on IWTV over there, so go to that. We just sent them the master here yesterday, I think, so they should have a refreshed copy of there without all the intermission stuff and all that stuff. Actually, the only intermission was because it was taking so long to put that contraption up because they were having some difficulty with it. That's the only reason we had an intermission. Also, oh my God, well-timed deathmatch show. Thank you everybody that I work with lately that has been taking time to focus on time at a wrestling show, because whether we're backstage, camera guy on the camera, or somebody in the front row, a long show feels long. You know what I mean? And and you know, we kind of experience it with AEW these days and things like that. But at least we can get up and pause and deal with that. So I mean, that's what's fair to your crew, and that's what's fair to your fans, is a well-timed show. And I appreciate the work that several people that I've worked with in the last couple of weeks have been paying to that, or identifying that they have a problem they need to fix. So I'm just happy these conversations are happening or being executed. But you won't care because you can watch everything on demand at indiewrestling.us, and we cut out all the bullshit. So, you know, don't worry about it. So much stuff there. 888 Wrestling, including the stuff coming up. Thursday night fights this week. The card looks like it's going to be amazing. There are going to be some announcements here on Wednesday, I believe, about some of the matches coming up. There's some exciting stuff going on. And, of course, they're going to have the Thanksgiving Eve show. Heath Slater is going to be a part of the next RWA show. Bloody Harvest with that dog collar match is already up there. The final cut just made it to the network. VOD and DVD buttons will be added here shortly. And, of course, our friends at APWF will be featured on IndieWrestling.us's YouTube and streaming platforms as well. So you can watch all those on demand and watch the first two matches, or your favorite match that interests you from the first two APWF shows on both the Indie Wrestling and the Triple B. I can't remember which his YouTube channel is. I think it's the Triple B. Look for the Triple B Experience. You'll find his YouTube channel on YouTube. That was redundant. Riz
Stork.
A lot of stuff happening. A lot of movements happening in professional wrestling this week. First of all, Samantha has moved on. Samantha Irvin, our favorite ring announcer of this decade, probably, most likely.
Decade is
of the 20s.
Short.
Of the 20s. Can tell me who's your favorite? Who am I? I'm like
No, I said too short. Too
short
because she's one of the best ones I've seen in.
I know. I didn't want to throw any sourness at a Lillian or other people. I'm not thinking Pedro DeLuca,
like Tony Schimmel,
Chuck Roberts.
Chuck Roberts, buddy. Hey, bud.
Hey, pal. Oh, I love
hey,
working with him in Erie now. It's so much fun when he's not running a promotion. Turns out a lot of people are more fun when they don't run a company.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, Samantha Irvin is one of the best talents they had. And who knows? Maybe she's going to just chill out.
She could be on that kid. Who knows?
Yeah.
Could
hang
be
out with Ricochet off air.
Or she could be an elite announcer. So, yeah.
Okay,
go ahead.
I don't think she's going to go to AEW.
Why?
Why? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes. Why? I'm sorry. I backed off to take a drink. I backed off to take a drink of this.
So, I don't think she is. I mean, maybe soon, maybe someday she will, but I don't think she's going like what Ricochet did and be like, okay, I'm going to AEW now. I think she is going to take as much time as she wants.
She might just need a rest. She might
need a rest.
Yes.
But I think that like I said, I don't think wrestling announcing is her top goal.
Well, that I wonder. Maybe there is something else, or maybe she just wants to travel with the hubby. Who knows?
I mean, she's a great flautist, and also a great singer. So maybe something is in the work there.
Jillian went off and did some albums, right? Speaking of that, we
an album,
maybe. Okay, I don't know. She might have done other work. Who knows?
Yeah, but like, I don't think Samantha's like that. Like, I'm gonna go to the EDW now.
This preconceived. It was a month ago, so who knows? Who knows? I would not be sad if she shows up, because I
Yeah, I'm
think
fine
she
with
will
her
only
showing up.
enhance the presentation of the product. Respect to the people that they've having announced that are not Chimmel. Wait,
Yep.
Chimmel? Not Chimmel. So Chimmel's the one that got hit in the balls with the thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was watching Botchamania. I watched it when they put it up too. Yeah, sorry, I just turned into 2008 YouTube in my head right now. But anyways,
Remember equals 3? That's fun.
what?
Nothing, Sorg.
Oh, anyways, but yeah, no, I think because there's been some less than stellar announcers on there.
Yeah, she's
there's
focusing
some-
on, like Tina
yeah.
mentioned, she's focusing on her music and family.
So that is out there. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was in her, and I didn't read the whole thing. I'm sorry. I didn't
That's
have
okay.
the text
It's
for
fine.
it.
Oh, you were talking about Justin Roberts as well.
Justin Roberts, yes. But anyways, no, the only enhance. I don't wonder what's happened with Bobby Cruz because I haven't seen him on my TV for a while. So, but again, who knows? Again, there's more than just wrestling for some people. If you're not
Yeah.
in front of your screen, it's not a slight on you. Okay, as we
So
discussed last week.
Does Chelsea Green leave her intro? Or does she have the intro yet? Still, or is it just?
I think it's in her song now too. But you know,
Is it? Yeah, I thought that
I
was.
wish they just take Samantha
the
doing it
beginning.
and put it in her music so that nobody else has to try and fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I love the dude just be like Chelsea Green, you know.
Yeah.
So
And then they had to. She had to make him to redo it, which is amazing.
Anyways, the other movement, the Motor City Machine Guns are now a part of WWE. Good for them. If anybody freaking
That's
deserves
a weird
it.
sentence.
I watched the match back last night, yesterday-ish, and I love the announcers were like, they're your favorite tag team's favorite tag team. They revolutionized what you know as tag team wrestling now. I was like, I love the way they put them over, former tag team or TNA tag champs and everything like that. I
You
thought
said that was
back
that
to-
Graves?
between Graves and Bennett, yes.
Okay.
Or Bad News Bennett.
Barrett.
Whatever.
Bad news.
What
Bad.
universe am I in?
Bad news.
Bad news. Anyways, but no, I appreciated that, and I appreciated the so it got me thinking because everybody's kind of like putting their whole like machine guns history and appreciation posts and stuff, and I was like, wow, what's my other than I talked to Alex Shelley in the bathroom a couple months ago, but it's about that Harpo show we were both working, but I also recalled Riz, the first show that I ever held a camera for had the Motor City Machine Guns in Newell. Remember the Newville Knockouts?
Ooh, yeah.
This show had, and I explicitly remember because it was the first time I was there, like, you know, before the bell, before the fans and everything like that. That was my first experience doing that, right? And I just remember because one of the big matches was Motor City Machine Guns with, I believe they're known as Babyface Fire at the time, maybe still Team Catfish. That was gory, and one now known as Joaquin Wild. So how that rolls together is interesting, but it was just very cool that was like, and also like these guys started in 2006 together, and that was 2008 if I recall. So also the same show had like Johnny Gargano, maybe Jake Roberts, unconfirmed. It was a crazy lineup for something like that. In retrospect, obviously everybody was new babies at the time. Basically, I think Johnny Gargano was still Flag Tights guy.
Flag Tights.
It's everywhere where he ended up going, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think he went to all those places at that point.
No, he didn't.
But anyways, no, and also doing great stuff, right? Had a great, actually, oh my God, he's gonna face him next week. DIY was the other winners of the trio match. So
I do like how the first match they had was a trios match. Was a triple threat
yeah,
tag match, because that fits what they did in TNA. Like for a while, like they did that nonstop action trademark, and it showed how they didn't really miss a step for that triple threat tag match type situation, where it's like a crazy ass multi-man match. So I am enjoying what they're what SmackDown is going to be with them in there. And who knows? They might actually win the titles coming up and run with it. Make them run with it.
Yep.
Like have a series. Like I would love a series with them and DIY.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's
Or-
that's kind of a dream match, isn't it?
Yeah, or Waller and Theory.
I'm here
Yeah.
for it. I'm here for it.
Yep.
So good stuff. Good announcements for the most part here. Yeah, all the shows have been hot this week. I've been loving the Bloodline stuff that's going on and all that. So speaking of other debuts, did you see the Shelton Benjamin match last week?
Yeah.
What was it? Him and Leo Rush.
Yep.
Oh my God, Shelton is such a badass, and I forgot. That is the most vicious Shelton Benjamin I recall, and it was so perfect.
It is. Like that was how you debut in a new company when the other company decided not to do anything with you. Like it's just.
Is that what happened, or was it just contracts?
Probably contract, but like
Yeah,
they still didn't do anything with him. That's
Okay.
what like.
he was just like the guy in the thing
Out
with
of-
Cedric, right?
Yeah, out of that one documentary about OVW, who in there besides Shelton Benjamin didn't do anything?
Which documentary about OVW you're talking about? Not the wrestlers.
It was not the wrestlers.
Like the
but
old one.
It was like the
oh wait,
old one
WWE
with,
Network did
Yeah.
one on them, right? Yeah.
right, like with Lesnar and
Now,
And-
all respect, Shelton had a great career in WWE.
he did. He did.
Between the work that he did as World's Greatest Tag Team with Kurt Angle, he was the highlight of Money in the Bank matches for ages. It felt like, but they they did slot him into kind of the good hand spot, right? They did the mama thing for a little bit, which is whatever, audience of one. But so like. He did a lot. He did a lot of great stuff. Went to Ring of Honor with Haas and did a bunch of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I remember
So-
that being a lot of fun.
Yeah, like for that, during the times that he's been in Money in the Bank,
Mm-hmm.
for all the crazy ass spots he's done,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one shot with the briefcase.
I think he's had the IC or something, things like that. I think, and maybe he's a guy that I don't know if I could see this guy main event in WrestleMania, but my God, he can put in some. Like he's got a great career. And again, not everybody can be Roman Reigns, and that's okay. Some people are perfectly happy being the Godfather. The Godfather is very happy being the Godfather. So
Oh, yeah.
it's you still succeeded. You still got to WrestleMania. Listen to Karrion Kross talking about being at WrestleMania this year. You know what I mean? He's cool. He's good. He's in a good spot. And he did the thing. And what he does next is just going to be.
He didn't have to wear a
point.
red helmet.
He didn't have to wear a red helmet anymore. He's no longer a gladiator. It's like they did the same thing to him. They tried to do to Farouk back in the day, or Ric Flair when they tried to pitch him that at WCW. So just the helmets are just a bad deal, right? But anyways, gold standard gimmick as well for Shelton. Oh, I forgot about the gold standard, man. It's good stuff. And now that's here, and you can say, well, he really kind of like thrashed Leo and stuff. It's like, man, he's gonna make some people look real good here.
The
like
promo-
like Leo looked like like that was a great. Leo's the right guy. Leo's probably got a dream match against Shelton there, to even touch the guy. Leo's a fucking talent and phenomenal and good dude from the little bit I've had interactions with him. So
Like the promo they did with, the promo between, like, I guess the Hurt. What are they calling it?
the
Is
Hurt
it Hurt
Business?
Business? Yeah,
But
Hurt Business and Swerve.
Well, we don't have a name yet, but we're kind of just proto Hurt Business right now.
Right, but like between that and like the you're here because of us.
Yes, we laid
That
this shit
was
down for you.
a
Oh my god,
line.
my god! I don't know if Lashley's actually coming or not, but if you just give me a Shelton and Swerve feud for a couple months, I am here
It's happening.
for
It's
it.
happening on the 30th.
Is it happening on the 30th?
Yep.
Oh, I am so here for that. Wherever that freaking goes, they're getting Swerve versus Shelton in Cleveland on the 30th.
Mhm.
Damn, what am I doing next Wednesday? I was going to try to drag you out here and play some more Five Nights at Freddy's, but maybe we'll go to Cleveland. But anyways.
No more 5 nights.
No more Five Nights? Oh, all the Five Nights. Dude, the jump scares were so great. This
Yeah.
guy and Katie played Five Nights at Freddy's both for the first time last night, and it was so much fun. Go back in the feed. Just look for the Five Nights stuff in the feed. Just stuff that looks like security cameras and stuff, and just watch them. Katie has like the shirt over her face,
Yeah,
like the
she-
whole time she's not playing and everything.
She
like
was
that.
she
It's
she
so
was
good.
having a time.
Oh my god! And it was the simplest game we played last night too. So, anyways, we played some Vampire Survivors, some Dead by Daylight, some Friday the 13th. We're having a fun spooky game night on Monday night on the feeds. So that's on all feeds. Mayhem Show. Okay, not IndieWrestling.us. I thought that'd be weird. But
Would it be weird?
yeah, a little. Well, she does officially have a championship. So, but
Yeah.
But
I
we
mean,
had a
yeah.
Mayhem Show, Awesome Cat, Silver Charm Media, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, on that note, let's give a shout out to our friend Slice on Broadway, feeding our people here in the studio.
Pizza.
Now, we didn't have any guests, but we were doing setup for Extra Life. My brother and friends are going to be dropping in here doing 24 hours from noon until, this is kind of a crossover thing, but it's helping feed them while they were setting up and everything. And we got some leftovers we're going to leave for them tomorrow, too. It's like leaving the cookies out for Santa Claus. Just leave the cold pizza out for the gamers. So go check out our friends Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting for the perfect pepperoni pizza. New York City style Yinzer Bay. Go check them out. And if you get the chance to be on hold, the theme song is amazing. Just imagine everything I say here on this ad, but sung in the most ridiculous way possible. I almost want to be like, put me on hold.
Yeah.
It's cool. Bruce, have you heard this yet?
I have not.
No, man, you got to get that. I know you go in person whenever you're in town. So, anyways, Riz and chat room, what did you learn from wrestling this week? I should have had Bubba message me what he learned from wrestling this week. So, anyways, Riz, what'd you learn?
Oh, that's a good question. I learned that the match doesn't start. Dog collar match doesn't start until the dog collar is on.
Oh no, they did
then-
that thing.
So you can do whatever you want without the dog collar on your
The match hasn't started.
Yeah, it hasn't started yet. And you know what? When the dog collar is on, there are no rules.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Riz? I learned something very similar. I learned that the match hasn't started and there are no rules until Sabotage stops playing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the key.
yeah.
That is the that's Spider Nate or Nate Spider Web style right there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Spider Nate Webb.
Spider Net Web.
Jeez. Did I show you the one where we were putting out, like, we have a Missy does a social media thing where she puts out, like, basically resurfaces basically our entire back catalog in IndieWrestling.us.
Mhm.
And there's a show with both Spider Nate Webb and Corey Graves, then Sterling James Keenan on it. And they started, like, talking on the thread for an old IWC show. I was like, hey, remember this shit? You know? I was like, it was what's happening on my Twitter feed right now, right? So, but I shouldn't be surprised. We've, obviously had dealings with both of them. So, and also I keep forgetting Spider Nate Webb had like a presence here, back in the day. I remember seeing him a couple times when I started going, but anywho.
So that bring you talking about old school, like IWC tapes and stuff like that. I remember the first time I sold DVDs for you, Sorg.
Yeah.
There was one DVD on that.
Oh my
on
God.
there
Was it
that
Disco
I-
Inferno versus Raven?
Yes.
And you're trying to sell it? It was
Yes.
like from
And
like
it's sold.
I didn't even, and I don't even know if I have a master of that, honestly, because everything got so screwed up at one point
Yeah.
because of who was holding the DVDs and everything like that. That when we transferred them, so I don't even have the entire catalog.
I guaranteed you, Sorg,
that you would sell that by the end of the
that
night.
I would sell that
And
by
I'm
the
like,
end of the
well,
night.
okay, pal.
Now,
Okay, pal.
to be fair, it was sold,
Yes.
but it might have been like with another DVD. Anyways,
you like package deal again. Okay,
Yeah.
here's the I still remember Sandman and Raven going at it. I think one of them was a surprise at the show, and they're just like going at it like a married couple at the
well, I
table.
remember it was that one, and then there was a Raven versus Larry Zbyszko DVD.
There was some
main
wild shit
event.
back then. Oh my god, I don't even know if I have all that stuff for YouTube. Like I think it's just lost to the world. If anybody's out there that has an extensive old DVD collection of IWCs, if they still work, because I understand that was like an issue for a long time
Yeah.
before we were involved. So I would love to try to maybe that like Dombrowski goes on these hunts for footage. Like he was supposed to be on to talk about the Andre stuff here tonight, but he's too busy on the JCW tour. God, I hope that's public.
Oops.
I presumed, And Tina Key says that I've learned that no one does pop culture references like Morrow. Morrow being on that show is one of the big factors that I want to watch the show, honestly.
Yes.
And tomorrow's pre-sales for WrestleMania are going to be a madhouse. Oh, I'm just going to wait a couple of months and get
boy.
what I can. I just want to be there. Matthew Birch Trooper is a bro on the Twitters. Go check his stuff. Matt just did God, was it the feud between Ziggy and Tony Johnson? You did on there because you popped it up, and it was weird because I just punched a bunch of old Rise stuff in, including a Ziggy match, and I saw this thumbnail of the two of them, and I'm like, I didn't post this in the feed, and I just appreciate that. Go check it out. He's doing some good stuff over there.
No way.
What? Hold on, let me finish this thing. I'm very excited for the future holds for 8A Wrestling between Jack Pollock and MV after what happened with them. Yes, Jack Pollock turned on MV, young Riz.
I saw the clips.
No longer is he Happy Jack.
He's not Happy Jack.
Not Happy Jack. No. From Dave Ponder, we learned that internet wrestling community is so stupid. The reaction to Samantha leaving WWE. Also, I love Dave Batista even more.
Yeah.
He is a real man, and that's all I'm going to say about that. We will not touch on the rest of it.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope.
What was this question? It was Sorg from 2019. What was Sorg from 2019?
What is Sorg from
I don't know what it was Sorg from 2019. What was I doing in 2019? Anyways, Riz,
Sorg?
real quick, and we got to get out of here.
I found it.
Found what?
Under Joe Dombrowski's Pro Wrestling Library from 2003. I have the video of the match between Raven versus
No. Oh no. Okay. That'll be a watch along at some point here then.
Yep.
All right.
So
Guys,
thank you,
so
Joe
much.
Dombrowski.
Riz plays games. He's been doing stuff. Oh, I bumped your zoomy zoom over
That's
there.
okay.
There you go. Riz plays games. Riz plays games with Dutters on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Spoopy games on the Twitter or on the streams. So thank you to Riz for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorg.
You can't like move into yourself. That's like a
I
Rizception
can't.
thing going on. That is
now
weird.
it looks like I have like two
God,
heads coming
that's
out
like
of my body.
it's like that one scene from Army of Darkness. Which one of you is Bad Ash? Anyways, at Sorgatron on the social medias. I will be in Johnstown, PA for APWF. Thank you, Bobby Brewer, for being on the show. Always good. I wish we had a little more time to chat, of course.
Oh my
yeah,
God, this is a young Chuck Roberts.
Of course it is. Chuck is my homeboy. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for Patreon. I don't know what we're going to get into. I might talk a little bit more about behind the scenes about this weekend and some stuff that we're dealing with. Some fun bits for you guys on Patreon. Thank you, everybody, who support us. I'll tell you what Ricky Shane page is really like backstage. And so much more. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining us. So much for being a supporter on Patreon or wherever you are. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.